Welcome to my channel, where the scariest stories come to life. Before we dive into today's chilling tale, make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications, so you never miss a story. Now, let's get into the horror. We decided to spend the long weekend at my parents' house in Laguna. I brought along our new nanny. In the past, my parents' previous nanny would often talk about feeling strange things in the house, but since she hadn't mentioned anything recently, I thought maybe whatever it was had gone away, or maybe it was just her imagination all along. However, we had two strange experiences during our stay. Firstly, within 10 minutes of arriving, and while we were unpacking and organizing our things in the cabinets, the wall clock fell down. It happened so suddenly, I tried to convince myself that it was the wind. Since it was a bit windy that day, I laughed it off, thinking, "Oh, there you are again." I didn't give it much thought. Even when I walked past the fallen clock on my way to the bathroom, I didn't pick it up. I figured it might fall again if I put it back. Honestly, if that clock had fixed itself back on the wall, we probably would have gone home right away. Secondly, we had bought a bracelet name tag for my baby from Achanga. It had a set of letters you can insert into the plastic band to spell names or messages. I thought it was a good idea for safety, so if he ever got lost, he'd have some identification. We left the bracelet at home when we went to the Halloween party at the clubhouse. When we returned, we found my baby's bracelet in a mess. Some letters and symbols were all over the bed, and I was puzzled. I was the last one who left the room before we set off for the party, except my parents' nanny. Everyone had left the house to join in the fun. I asked her if she had gone upstairs to check the rooms after we had left, and she said no. She added that she thought we were still upstairs, because she felt and heard noises like someone was there. Once again, there was that strange feeling. My sister laughed a lot, because she never notices anything unusual. She was amused how quickly these things happened to us, but not to her. I haven't yet heard any stories from my new nanny, but she did mention there's something off in our house. She calls it a crumb, which makes me slightly nervous. I try not to think about it too much, or I might get scared and want to leave. The house was built by my great-great-grandmother and has been in our family for generations. It was a beautiful two-story home, full of charm and character, and my family lived there peacefully for many years. We had our daily routines, shared our laughter and tears, and lived without much drama or excitement. That was until my grandmother passed away. Grandma had been bedridden for a while, and she and Grandpa shared a room on the second floor. After she passed, Grandpa decided to move downstairs. He said he needed a change and wanted to be closer to the rest of us. With this move, the second floor became a place no one visited, and it didn't take long for it to show signs of neglect, peeling wallpaper, gathering dust, and an overall sense of abandonment. At first, we didn't think much of it. Life just went on as usual, but soon we started noticing odd things. Footsteps could be heard from the second floor, as if someone was walking around. Our dogs would gather at the foot of the stairs, barking and growling at something none of us could see. I was just a young girl at the time, but I was convinced the house was haunted. My mother, on the other hand, insisted it had to be a wild animal that had somehow found its way inside. One day, after hearing the footsteps once more, my mom decided it was time to take action. She grabbed a broom, determined to scare off whatever was causing the commotion. I followed behind her, clinging to her pants. As we approached the stairs, she told me to stay back, assured me she'd just scare the animal away, and with a determined look, she threw the broom up the stairs. It landed with a loud thud. We heard a rush, a scuttling noise, and then everything went silent. For a moment, Mom turned to me with a smirk, almost saying, "See, nothing to worry about." But as we began to walk away, something happened that neither of us could explain. The broom came flying back down the stairs, crashing onto the ground with surprising force, as if someone had thrown it back at us. I looked up and saw what vaguely resembled the shadow of a person, and it vanished as quickly as it appeared. I screamed, and my mom grabbed my hand, both of us rushing to find Grandpa. He was sitting in his favorite chair, and his presence brought a sense of calm. We told him what had happened, and he held us close, speaking in his gentle, soothing voice. Together, we decided it was best to leave the second floor alone. We knew ignoring the problem wouldn't solve anything, but as long as it stayed on the second floor and we stayed on the first, we felt safe. Our neighbors occasionally brought up strange occurrences, figures in the windows, noises at odd hours, and we would nod and brush it off, not wanting to delve into the mystery of the second floor. Life continued, and we just adapted to living with the unknown presence there. The feeling that something was always watching lingered like a shadow over our lives. As I grew older, the haunting became a part of our family's history, a story whispered among us but never discussed openly. We accepted it as one of those things that couldn't be explained, or perhaps didn't want to be. In time, we moved out of the house, leaving behind both cherished memories and unsettling experiences. The house still stands to this day, but we never really found out what haunted the second floor. Maybe that was for the best. Some mysteries are just meant to remain unsolved and tucked away in the past. Our house is arranged so that from the dining room, you can clearly see the stairs leading up to the second floor. One Sunday, while our family was having lunch together, we heard heavy footsteps coming from the master bedroom upstairs. After a few seconds, those same footsteps echoed on the stairs. What made it strange was that our stairs are carpeted, so it was unusual to hear footsteps so clearly. The scariest part was that there was no one there, and it was bright daylight. Then one night, I came home from work late, around midnight. Before going to bed, I decided to watch some TV in the living room. Finding nothing interesting, I turned off the TV and put down the remote, but to my surprise, the TV turned on again right away. It was odd because it switched to a channel that needed someone to press the remote twice. This realization hit me only after I calmly turned the TV off again. After that, I quickly ran to my bedroom, feeling a bit spooked. We also had a mirror facing the stairs through which you can see the corridor on the second floor. One day, my sister was using the mirror when she noticed a figure crossing the corridor at the top of the stairs. She assumed it was my brother and didn't pay much attention, until my brother actually crossed the corridor seconds later, going in the same direction as the figure she had just seen. Once, I found myself locked out of my room, only for it to mysteriously unlock a few minutes later without any explanation. Another time, a relative forgot to turn off the electric fan in a bedroom. As he was about to go inside to switch it off, he heard a click, and the fan turned off by itself. There have been many instances when family members see a figure quickly darting toward a room or the bathroom, as if racing someone inside. We often think it's a family member playing a prank until we realize there's no one there. Our maid even recalled seeing someone sitting on her bed once. What's consistent is that the figure seems to resemble a young boy. It's as if he's always playing pranks or trying to get our attention. Over time, we've grown accustomed to our little visitor. We now refer to him as our Inaga pet or our Kaibigan friend. In fact, we've gotten so used to his presence that if none of us have encountered him for a while, we start to miss him. When I was a girl, we used to live in an apartment in Kalayrit. It was upstairs, because that was the biggest space we could find. One day, I was off work and decided to watch Eat Balago while relaxing on the sofa. Everything seemed normal until I heard footsteps coming up to our door. I turned and waited, expecting someone to be there, but there was no one. I brushed it off and continued watching TV. But then the footsteps started again. This time, I turned around thinking it must be my brother. Yet again, there was no one. This kept happening several more times. I turned around repeatedly, convinced it might just be my imagination. But then the footsteps came again. I decided to ignore them this time, but suddenly, the footsteps changed into a fast run, straight at me. I was shocked and couldn't move at all. I felt as if someone hugged me tightly, like I was tied with a rope. In this terrifying moment, a loud male voice boomed in my ear, "What do you want me to do to you?" I tried to see who was speaking, but the embrace was so strong that I couldn't move. Panic took over, and I screamed. The moment I did, the grip loosened and I was free. Shaken, I got up quickly and ran downstairs to my neighbor's apartment. I was trembling and tears were rolling down my face as I told him what happened. I clung to him for comfort and didn't want to leave his side the whole time. That experience was so frightening, I just can't forget it. Many strange things happened to me when I was young. I have more stories, but I'll share them next time because they still scare me to this day. Like many young people starting college, I was both excited and nervous. I had gotten into the university I wanted, but it was a 2-hour drive from home. Commuting for 4 hours every single day wasn't something I wanted to do. So after getting permission from my dad, I started searching for a place closer to school. For 2 days, I scoured the area, but I found nothing within my budget. Most apartments were too expensive. Finally, I stumbled upon a place that was cheap and conveniently located. The catch? It was near an abandoned hospital. I didn't really care much about that, creepy places never bothered me. Ever since I was young, I had experienced unexplainable things, so this was nothing to me. I should mention that I had a boyfriend at the time, and he was someone who could see things that others couldn't, if you know what I mean. The first couple of months went by smoothly. The university was great, and I loved my classes. My boyfriend and I were comfortable passing by the abandoned hospital. We mostly walked by it in the morning, maybe late afternoon or early evening, but nothing strange ever happened. One night, my school hosted a pageant. It was an event open to outsiders, so I invited my boyfriend. The activities wrapped around 2 a.m., and we decided to head to my place. It was a 15-minute walk, but we had to pass by the hospital. I didn't think much of it, and neither did he. We'd walked by there many times, and nothing had ever creeped us out. But as we got closer to the hospital, a strange feeling crept over me. It was hard to describe. I was about to mention it when I noticed my boyfriend staring intently at something. He seemed focused, almost like he was holding his breath. His grip on my hand tightened. I asked what was wrong, but he didn't respond. When we were near the hospital, he whispered, "Val, walk faster." His voice was tense and low. I did as he said, even though I was confused. Something about his demeanor unsettled me. I was about to glance back when he said, "No. Don't look back. Just walk faster." I've always been a bit stubborn, so despite his warning, I looked back. But there was no one there, I couldn't see anything. My boyfriend was sweating now, and we picked up our pace to a jog. Then he finally told me, a woman was following us. As I mentioned, I didn't see anyone when I turned around, and that's when I realized he meant a woman that only he could see. He glanced back again, then looked at me, fear all over his face. "Run," he said. I had never seen him like that. So we ran. We sprinted the rest of the way to my place, and once inside, I locked the door and we collapsed to the floor, gasping for air. He finally told me what he saw, a woman in white standing near the hospital. At first, he thought she was just a passerby, until she looked up, and he saw her eyes. They were completely black. He knew something was wrong. As we passed her, she started following us. She moved unnaturally, and that's when he told me to run. Even though I continued to walk past that hospital until I graduated, I made sure never to do it late at night again. That experience taught me to trust my instincts, and my boyfriend's gift. I learned to respect things we don't understand. And while I never saw that woman myself, the memory of the fear on his face is something I will never forget. Thanks for sticking around till the end. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to give the video a like and leave a comment with your thoughts. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a terrifying tale. See you in the next one.